Dear viewers, immigration rules are frequently changing, which is very important for migrant community and all of us. Why won't the world tackle the refugee crisis? Are the High Court judges under pressure by government policy? How deporting people silently? Why immigration detention center misbehaves with detainees? Is the immigration enforcement used by government lawfully? How immigrants are victim of domestic violence? What will be the UK relationship with the European Union after Brexit? Fear spreads. Protests across the world. We should know the reality. I try to collect all the latest immigration news regularly. If you like this video, please stay with us to follow my Facebook page and YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends. Let's go to the news. Theresa May forced to soften stance on foreign students being included in immigration numbers. The Prime Minister has reportedly made compromises so the Higher Education and Research Bill can pass through Parliament. Crackdown on migrants forces NHS doctors to act as border guards. Charity condemns government guidance allowing Home Office to access details of undocumented migrants seeking care. A medical charity has launched a campaign against government guidance that makes border guards of doctors by allowing the Home Office to access details of undocumented migrants who seek NHS treatment. Immigration officials detained 39 people in raids on 2 Leicester clothing factories. The Home Office Immigration Enforcement Team staged unannounced visits to MK Clothing Limited and Fashion Times UK Limited, in Temple Road, north of Ington. Of the 39 men and women who were detained, 31 had outstayed their visas, 7 had entered the country illegally and 1 was working in breach of their visa conditions. Welsh Education Secretary urges PM not to include foreign students in immigration target. Kirsty Williams wants to avoid a cut to the number of international students coming to Wales. Doctors fight against becoming border guards for Home Office immigration enforcement. Medical campaigners put pressure on government to end new policy they say is generating mistrust in the medical professionals and scaring sick people away from healthcare. Dozens of landlords fined after rollout of new right-to-rent immigration checks. Dozens of landlords have been fined under a crackdown on illegal immigration. Theresa May must now make clear her immigration plan for Brexit Britain. EU citizens hopeful of UK residency deal even if Brexit talks fail. European Parliament leader says EU citizens in UK should be protected whatever the outcome of main talks. Britain will be paying off obligations to Brussels for years after Brexit, remain subject to EU courts and go on letting relatives of European immigrants settle in the UK, draft EU negotiating documents show. Half of British public support more immigration of highly skilled workers. Poll suggests. The combined research by Ipsos Mori and King's College London found that 52% of British adults believed more migrants coming to do highly skilled jobs should be admitted. UK employers will take on immigration enforcement, say experts. Shift in responsibility forecast because of Home Office staffing pressures. Employers in Britain will have to take more responsibility for enforcing immigration rules after Brexit because the Home Office does not have the manpower to monitor EU migrants as well as those from the rest of the world, experts warn. Theresa May commits Tories to cutting net migration to the UK to the tens of thousands. Theresa May said the Conservatives will commit to reducing net migration to the UK to tens of thousands. The Prime Minister said she wanted to deliver sustainable numbers of people coming to Britain and defined that number as being less than 100,000. Foreign criminals and failed asylum seekers could be removed from Britain within 25 days under a new fast-track appeal system. Liz Truss, the Justice Secretary, will on Tuesday unveil plans to speed up deportation appeals by foreign criminals and asylum seekers who have no right to remain. Theresa May is taking a huge gamble by calling an election failure would be calamitous. A Romanian immigrant battered and raped a woman just 11 days after arriving in the UK, having been released from prison in his home country. Florin Muraru, 25, fled Romania when judges released him on license from a prison sentence for attacking another woman during a violent robbery. Who is eligible to vote in a UK general election? In England, Scotland or Wales, you can register to vote online at gov.uk/register to vote. To vote in a UK general election, a person must be registered to vote and also 18 or over. Be a British citizen, a qualifying Commonwealth citizen or a citizen of the Republic of Ireland. Not be subject to any legal incapacity to vote. Foreign aid spending up, taxes could rise and pensions under threat if Conservatives win election. Foreign aid spending and taxes could increase and pensions hit if the Conservative Party wins the general election, under plans announced today. Letters. Theresa May was wrong to make a pledge about net immigration that is impossible to keep. The Conservatives must think we don't understand what net migration means. It is stupid to include in the migration figures holders of British passports who move abroad and foreign students, as the former may come back and will not be counted as inward migration and the latter usually go back after their studies. Everyone knows it is impossible to get the actual migration figures down to tens of thousands, so why doesn't Theresa May just pledge to reduce inward migration by many hundreds of thousands as soon as we regain control of our borders after Brexit? Nutt urges parents not to give details of children's nationality and birthplace. Teachers' Union passes motion at annual conference challenging government's use of data collected by state schools in England. Parents are being told not to supply information on their children's nationality and birthplace being demanded by the government, amid fears that the information could be used to enforce immigration laws. The National Union of Teachers annual conference passed a motion condemning the Department for Education's attempts to record pupils' nationality and country of birth in the National Pupil Database, NPD, with delegates told that the details could be passed to the Home Office and police. Child refugees in Europe forced to sell bodies to pay smugglers. Governments urged to end most heinous human rights violation as report finds widespread sexual exploitation of migrant children in Greece. Refugee crisis and Central and Eastern Europe, what solidarity do we need? There is a disconnect between law and practice whereby the EU is continually reforming the Common European Asylum System, (SEAS), but seems incapable of implementing it. It's like being in a nightmare. Newlywed wife separated by visa row speaks out. Juliane Oliveira Rodrigues married John Wright in Brazil and had hoped to move into his Gateshead home. A newlywed wife has spoken of her living nightmare at being trapped on the other side of the world to her husband after a furious immigration row erupted. But a recent Supreme Court decision which upheld a minimum income of £18,600 for applicants sponsoring spouses means the Home Office has paused the process on certain non-European applications. Four-year-old girl among refugees raped in Greece as thousands of asylum seekers trapped in camps. Children resorting to selling survival sex in desperation for shelter and money to escape. Meet Zamzam Farah, the Olympian who became an asylum seeker. In 2012, Zamzam Farah was one of only 2 Somali athletes in the London Olympic Games. 5 years later she is about to run her first London Marathon. Farah was the flag bearer for Somalia in 2012 and ran the 400 meters race. After receiving death threats following her success as an athlete, she decided to seek asylum in the UK. In Somalia, people don't understand sport and don't like it that much, especially for women, Farah explained. Thank you for staying with me. See you in the next video.